October 5th at 2:40 p.m. Eastern Time, or Eastern. I'll just wait a moment for you guys. Hello, hello. Hey. Hi, my Twitter pals. How you doing? I see my Twitter pals in the chat. Just wanted to let you guys know, happy Saturday. Howdy, everyone. Happy Saturday. This video is brought to you by a sponsor that I really love. It is the Trump 2020 coin. When they released this, the silver coin, the first round of it, which was this one here in silver, they didn't really know how successful it would be or what would happen with it. But 3 years later, everybody is pretty much in agreement that Donald Trump has been a superb leader, and they've sold so many of these coins that they have had to do a second press on them. So now this brand new Commander-in-Chief coin is available for everybody. These are really, really pretty coins. They're very beautiful. I have one in my hand right now, actually. Not this one, the first one. It's 0.999 fine solid silver. It is handcrafted in America. It is absolutely stunning. So if you guys want to grab this coin, you can go to Trump2020coin.com and use the code Tracybeanz, I believe it is. I'll have to check with them, make sure. And you could save $5 off. It's Trump 2020 coin, TrumpCoin2020.com. Sorry, TrumpCoin2020.com. And I think it's Tracybeanz is the coupon code or the discount code for it. It's really, really nice. Not even a question, just a gorgeous, gorgeous coin. So that is that. Thank you to our sponsors. It's really pretty. Okay, so what I wanted to touch on today is something that's been absolutely infuriating me over the past several days, and I've tweeted about it several times, and that is that the media as a whole, no matter what side of the aisle, outside of a handful of folks on Fox News, is getting this story wrong, and I think they're doing it on purpose. And, even some of the people that we thought were arbiters of truth are seemingly getting details of this wrong, that are crucial to understanding the story as a whole. They're obfuscating, they're allowing people that they have on as guests to cite facts that aren't correct. They're misinterpreting what key witnesses in the story say, like Giuliani, etc. They're interrupting when they start to get to a point that makes sense. They're flat out lying about things, like things that are just not even true are being broadcast. And it's disturbing, like to a level that it really hasn't been before. Like I've been disturbed about the media before, but this is to a level where it's almost criminal. I was talking about this on the podcast with Frank yesterday, that there should be liability here for what they're doing, because they're quite literally gaslighting the American people. And especially in the case of Fox, when you have a handful of a lineup of a handful of people who are consistently factual, and then you introduce unfactual things to that same channel, it's a lot easier to dissuade people into believing the falsity, because they say, okay, well, these 5 people are honest, so that must be true. And oh my gosh, that's concerning. So I'm going to play a clip from this morning on Cavuto, and I know he's a never Trumper, and I know he's been critical of Trump. Martha McCallum, yes, she's one of them. Yes, absolutely. I'll get into that in a second. But this clip this morning really annoyed me. Cavuto did push back a little bit on this, to be fair, but not in the right way. And I think it's really important that we play this outright blatant falsity that is not even true at all, that broadcast on Fox this morning out of the mouth of Al Green, Democrat from Texas. Here we go. Listen to this. Fair use. This is in fair use.
XM Radio. They've been trying to impeach me from the day I got elected. I've been going through this for 3 years.
All right, well, maybe not since he was elected, but my next guest has been calling for the president's impeachment since at least he was shortly sworn in. but for not all the obvious reasons. Now he's got a lot of the Democratic world with him, but he was there when no one was there. The Democratic Congressman from Texas, Al Green, with us now. Congressman, good to have you back.
Good to be back with you, Mr. Cavuto. Thank you for having me.
Well, I have you back because you keep calling me Mr. Cavuto. Neil is fine, but... You know.
Good old buddy, old pal. I mean, all right, whatever. Let's just keep going.
Oh, whatever. But, Congressman, you've just heard from a former Republican congressman who says that Republicans might rue the day they resisted this when they should have an open ear to this, and that this is about getting to the bottom of what the president's doing, and maybe nothing there, but it's worth exploring.
It's not worth exploring. None of this is worth exploring. There's no story here. I consistently am overwhelmed with the fact that these people think that there's a story here. There is no story. Nothing happened. Nothing. Legitimately, nothing. Nothing happened. The only thing that happened is that these people know that they're being looked at with a microscope. That's what happened.
What do you say to that?
Well, I thought he spoke well when he talked about the current president, President Trump. The president dispatched his unofficial minister plenipotentiary, Mr. Giuliani, to Ukraine. He is not a person paid by the taxpayers, hasn't been confirmed by the Senate. He was there to get dirt on the Bidens.
Now, I'm going to stop it there because I have a bunch to say about that first little section there. Hold on. Still trying to get over this cold, coughing. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about this. I have a comparison that if I were a Cavuto, I would have made. I would have said, Mr. Green, you know, we could make that argument about Sidney Blumenthal. Obama blatantly rejected him from the State Department, and Hillary Clinton had no problem sending him all over the country, dealing in Libya, etc., and sending dirt about all kinds of things to her personal private email server that she was using while against the law. Just saying. Here we go. Let's keep going.
And at the time he was there, the president was withholding hundreds of millions of
Hold
dollars
on a second.
in funds. Not about the current president, President Trump. The president dispatched his unofficial minister plenipotentiary, Mr. Giuliani, to Ukraine. He is not a person paid by the taxpayers, hasn't been confirmed by the Senate. He was there to get dirt on the Bidens. And at the time he was there, the president was withholding hundreds of millions of dollars in funds the Ukraine needed to fend off the Russians. That's impeachable.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Rudy Giuliani wasn't there. Rudy Giuliani wasn't there. He wasn't there during that time period either. It's just a flat out lie. Like, Cavuto in a second, he'll push back and he'll say, you know, to be fair, we don't really have proof of that, you know, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, what a shock. I actually do have proof right here in my lap. Like, and then he pulls out these transcripts of these calls that were released yesterday, that are cherry picked. And I'm going to show you the parallels between what they did here and what they did during the Mueller, during the setup for Trump, you know, when they tried to entrap him into some sort of collusion so they would be able to use it later, and it never worked, how they tried to do that with his campaign as well.
All right, well, we don't know that for sure, to be fair, Congressman, so we can't, you know, convict someone before we explore it. Well,
I do have evidence of it in my hand, if I may share it with you quickly. I have first the memo, the July 25th phone memo, where the president of Ukraine says, one of my assistants spoke with Mr. Giuliani just recently. This is in the memo.
And? What is that proof of? That's proof of nothing.
Then I hate to mention a competitor, but on Mr. Cuomo's program, Chris Cuomo, on Thursday, September 19th, here's what occurred. Mr. Cuomo said, "So you did ask Ukraine to investigate Biden?" And of course, Mr. Giuliani said, "Of course."
And? Like, I don't understand why they're trying to make this into something that it isn't. It's very clear. Like, I was saying to my dad, I was like, is everybody this dumb? You know, is everybody this stupid? Or, you know, there's a lot of people that are doing this on purpose. But after McCallum's interview with Giuliani the other day, well, I sat, the 12-minute long one, I sat there like, he's clear as day about this. He's very clear about why this all happened. Have fun apple picking, Coma. Have fun. Giuliani was investigating in Ukraine because he was investigating the origins of the dossier, the Black Book Ledger, all the other malfeasance we know was coming out of Ukraine. As he was doing that, he realized the other stuff, and they all tied together. Plain and simple. And they were doing this, I have the dates. He started this investigation in November of 2018, and he finished it in March of 2018. The only reason why this came up now is because the Democrats brought it up with this leaker, you know, shrouded in whistleblower protection that they don't deserve, and their secondhand information that wasn't even true. So, like, I have a tweet here where they say, here, Delanian of all people, Delanian from NBC. The CIA's top lawyer made, quote, criminal referral on whistleblower complaint. So this is the thing. I want you to play devil's advocate for a second. They're trying to, I don't want to allow ads or support your journalism. They're trying to make the comparison that because the CIA's top lawyer made a criminal referral on this whistleblower's complaint, that it's serious. But they're ignoring the fact that the complaint was wholly inaccurate, completely inaccurate. Why is this even a story? Sorry, March 2019. My bad. My apologies. Rudy Giuliani's investigation went from November 2018 to March 2019. No. Yeah, 2019. Right. So let's just play devil's advocate for a second. The whistleblower complaint or the leaker complaint is based on what was in the document that we read that was released that contained numerous inaccuracies and was based on hearsay, where there were 7 times in the call where the whistleblower says that President Trump was basically quid pro quoing to Ukraine about Joe Biden and the investigation into Joe Biden. Like, if the whistleblower complaint at face value was enough, if you read that as an employee of the CIA and it was about Obama talking to Ukraine, and then you were like, you know what, this is pretty serious based off of the complaint, that's what you would want to happen. You would want there to be an investigation into what the president's doing. You would want there to be a look into whether or not the president of the United States is pressuring another country with military aid to do an investigation of somebody. But that's not what happened. The whistleblower complaint never should have been accepted in the first place because it was based on hearsay, and clearly the hearsay was wrong. So the fact that these people did what they did based on a whistleblower complaint that did not come from direct knowledge and had literally nothing to back it up, no hard evidence at all, that the whistleblower lied on the form and said they didn't talk to anybody else in Congress, etc., and then we found out they did. There's already a credibility problem there. You know, this is a non-story. The criminal referral on the complaint is a non-story because the complaint is a non-story. I hope I'm making sense. It's very confusing. And going back to, you know, the origins of all of this that happened over in Ukraine with Chalupa and the DNC and the Black Book Ledger and all kinds of other things. Pelosi's son, as Patrick Halley has broken, that Pelosi's son is involved over there. These people have everything to lose with Ukraine, so they're doing like the most amazing reflection that they could possibly do, where they're trying to take everything that they've done and they project it onto a president who has done absolutely nothing wrong at all. Legitimately nothing. That phone call, if that's an impeachable offense, the phone call that we had, we're in deep trouble. I mean, you might as well go back in time and impeach every president. This is absolutely ridiculous. And the news media, if you even want to call them that, these hack journalists posing as media on television and elsewhere that are doing the American public a ridiculous disservice by not at least understanding the story at its core. Like, they don't even understand the basics of the story. They don't even know the timeline. And then every time they have someone who does on, they interrupt them, like Mark Levin on Fox News Sunday last week. They obfuscate what they're trying to say. They push back with details that are irrelevant. And then you try to get the American public to understand what's going on here. And everybody's just confused and running around like, oh, okay, well, I don't know what the heck's going on. I have no idea. This is the problem. It's that nobody's telling the truth where most people go to obtain their facts. And it's a big issue. Now, yesterday, Shemi did a good job here, so I'm going to pull him up. There was a selectively released transcript or selectively released excerpts of the hearing that was going on with Kurt Volker. And Volker was in there, and the Republicans came out and said, like, his testimony does nothing to uphold this impeachment narrative that they're looking for. And now they're going after obstruction of justice. And, we need all of the phone calls the White House has ever made to any foreign leader. And it's just, somebody just needs, it's like one of those things where you just have to smack these people and put them in the corner somewhere. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane what's happening right now. So, they released selective stuff. They release selective things, and then they try to make them things that they're not. So here, this one, for example, that he points out that President Trump cancels a trip to meet Zelensky on August 30th. And they say, okay, well, there are some people still going. The reason why he didn't go was for no other reason than he wanted to be here when Dorian was about to hit the United States. In case you forget the Dorian controversy about Alabama. So there's that. And then there's interesting stuff. One of the most interesting is this. Here's a section of text messages that were released between Bill Taylor and Gordon Sondland. And Bill is trying to Bill is trying to set up people that he's talking to get them to tacitly agree with what narrative he's pushing along. And the narrative that he's pushing along is some sort of pay-for-play scandal, and there isn't one. So Bill Taylor says, the message to Ukrainians and Russians we send with the decision on security assistance is key. With the hold, we've already shaken their faith in us, thus my nightmare scenario. Bill then says, counting on you to be right about this interview, Gordon. And then Gordon says, Bill, I never said I was right. I said we are where we are and believe we have identified the best pathway forward. Let's hope it works. And then Bill texts, as I said on the phone, I think it's crazy to withhold security assistance for help with the political campaign. Now, during the testimony, Kurt testifies that the reason why Bill says this is because he's reading media reports that Schiff is putting out there, making the assertion that Donald Trump is holding back military aid because of these investigations, which is not the case at all. And as a matter of fact, in regards to Ukraine, Donald Trump's policy has always been that he wanted the EU to take up more responsibility for aid package. So this is really in keeping with exactly what Donald Trump has always wanted. As a matter of fact, the Mueller report proves that. So if you hold Mueller up on some big pedestal, leftists, you can go ahead and look at his report where this is proven. So the Democrats selectively release this, and then even Gordon says, Bill, I believe you're incorrect about the intentions of President Trump. He's been crystal clear. No quid pro quos of any kind. He's trying to evaluate whether Ukraine is truly going to adopt transparency and reforms that Zelensky promised during his campaign. I suggest we stop the back and forth by text. If you still have concerns, I recommend you give Lisa Kenna or us a call to discuss them directly, which is telling, because I think Gordon could tell exactly what Bill was trying to do. So my question is Bill involved? How involved is Bill Taylor in this whole conspiracy that's going on here with the Democrats and the Uniparty, like the Sasses and the Romneys, etc. of the world? How much? Because it really reminds me of Felix Sater. It reminds me of Felix Sater in the middle of the Trump campaign, where he texts Michael Cohen and says, our buddy Putin will get our buddy elected. He'll get our boy elected. Putin will get our boy elected. Don't you worry. I can even have Ivanka fly over there to sit in his chair. Overt ridiculousness coming out of Sater, trying to entrap Michael Cohen into saying something back or into getting the president to buy in. Who knows at this point? I'm pretty sure that Michael Cohen must have had some idea what was going on, but I'm just saying. So going back to it again, I know that we all know that the media has been doing this for years, but it has gotten to a point now where it is absolutely mind-blowing how bad it really is. For example, I talked about this New York Times piece on the podcast yesterday. This blew my mind. This was a New York Times piece put out that really, it lies at several points specifically here. This excerpt right here where they say, there is the idea promoted by the president's lawyer that Ukraine's government actively sabotaged Mr. Trump's 2016 campaign. A Ukrainian-American lawyer who consulted for the DNC, why don't you ever say her name, looked into the finances of Paul Manafort and spoke with Ukrainian embassy officials. But there appears to have been no organized Ukrainian government effort to intervene. Certainly nothing comparable to the activities of Russian intelligence agencies ordered by Mr. Putin. Then they say, it is true that a Ukrainian legislator helped publicize documents on Mr. Manafort's multi-million-dollar payments from a Ukrainian political party, leading to its resignation as Mr. Trump's campaign chairman, but the claim of Mr. Manafort's wrongdoing turned out to be justified. He's in prison now. There's a problem, though, guys. There is no evidence to support Ukraine actively meddled in our election. What is this here from the New York Times in 2018? Ukraine court rules Manafort disclosure caused meddling in U.S. election. The New York Times reported that the Ukraine ruled in its own courts that they meddled in our election. And this New York Times author here says there is no organized Ukrainian government effort to intervene. They debunked their own reporting. They contradicted themselves completely. And we're at a point right now, folks, where, like, seriously, they are literally, it used to be even as much as, like, I don't know, a month or two ago, it used to be that they would just obfuscate or gloss over, or it's hard, gently massage the truth. this is just literally lying. Like, they're looking you right in the face and they're saying, the grass is blue. We're reporting live from New York, and we're here to tell you that the grass is blue, and anybody saying otherwise is a white supremacist racist. The grass is blue. Nancy Pelosi saying that Adam Schiff said President Trump's words when he was in front. I mean, she's just lying to you. How is this when this is a problem? It is much more so a problem than it ever was before, because they're blatantly lying about things. They're just making things up. They're making up facts that don't exist from thin air. Literally. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. Just want to make sure this was here. It's a big problem. And I sit here and I'm watching this happen and I'm hearing it over and over, and I'm attempting to keep a notepad every time I hear this, because I don't go on television like ever. I have Sirius Radio, so I listen on there. And just sitting here, I'm like, somebody's got to say something about this, because the more it happens and nobody does, like, there are some people that are really great people that have contracts with this network that won't say anything about it because they have a contract with them. But it's getting really bad when you've got a Shepard Smith, a Brett Baer, a Neil Cavuto, goodness knows, a Martha McCallum now of all people, the Fox and Friends folks in the morning that used to be so great, just completely, Fox Sunday, just completely, like, the one place that people thought that they could go to get some sort of truth that we knew. I know everyone's like, well, they've been doing this forever. I know. But it's at the point now where it's literal blatant falsity. They're lying. It's just not factual information. So I don't know. I mean, there's got to be a move. I can't see. This is what happens the entire day. Their ratings are horrible, I'm sure. And then 8 o'clock hour rolls around and Tucker's on, and then 9 o'clock is Hannity, and then 10 o'clock is Ingram. And some people stick around for Ingram. They watch her show. And then that's it. That's the only thing. That's the only thing. And what have they done? They have tried to take down Judge Jeanine. They have tried to take down Tucker. They've tried to take down Laura Ingraham, like the only people on the network that are actually telling the truth, with nonsense BS. And Ingraham even shades sometimes in the wrong direction, to be honest. But I mean, not everybody's perfect. And, I've heard Laura Ingraham say some things where I'm like, what? But, I feel like I could go on Fox and have an actual intelligent conversation about what's going on. And the people that are hosting their shows can't even do it. Like, you don't let comments like that go. Now, to be fair, Cavuto did push back on him, but not for the right things. Does that make sense? The 5 is good too. I like the 5. You like the 5? Yeah. Helga's sitting here listening to me rant at you.
Who are you talking to?
Do you want to say hello?
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and DLive.
Oh.
Say hi.
Hi. Okay, here's the thing.
I don't know what she's going to say.
If you guys want me to come back, put hashtag Helga come back in the chat, and I'll come back.
Anyway. So it's just, I don't know what to say other than, there are good guys out there, but they're really being messed with. And I've seen people attack Solomon. We've got some hashtags. I've seen people attack John Solomon for his reporting that he's done that is Pulitzer worthy as a hack and everything else. And it's really disgusting. Like, we're, now it started out that just people like, people like me and like we were the fringe, you know, independent journalists out there doing the thing. Were fringe, and then it moved into, you know, encompassing some more folks into the fringe, far right, vast right wing conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hat wearing nonsense lunatics, and then now it's expanded so far. The fringe is so big now that it's also reporters well established in their field, like John Solomon and Sarah Carter and Chuck Ross and, you know, Sean Davis and Molly Hemingway and Cheryl Atkinson. And these are all fringe people. Kim Strassel. These are all fringe people too. So now we're all, Helga, they're all clamoring for you. Now they're all, you know, back. And, you know, it's funny because I was saying to my friend that back in 2012, etc., I never used to listen to Rush because he was like sincerely a neoconservative who really just wanted to kill everybody across overseas. He was a big warmonger. And I didn't like it. And he was anti-Ron Paul. And I just didn't listen to him anymore. And then I started listening to him again. And it really seems like he's got it now. And he's really amazing. Like, I don't know if I changed or he did. I don't know. I have
one question.
What?
Who is Juan?
Juan?
Everybody keeps saying Juan in the chat. Who is Juan?
I don't know. Juan Williams from Fox?
Oh.
Okay.
Because everybody kept saying Juan in the chat, and I was just like, what? What does that even mean?
Okay. Stop distracting me. I'm busy. So, anyway, so I don't know if he's changed or what, but between him and Levin, remember Levin was like a serious anti-Trump guy. He was a Cruz guy through and through. And so everything is coming into focus a little bit more clearly now. But we can't continue to allow, I almost like feel like there should be a 24-hour fact check for every news network that is run independently and just does a 24/7 fact check of what's happening. Because there is no way to counter this otherwise. Like, I can't reach all the people watching Fox in the morning who are our friends but are being lied to. Like, there's no way to do it. And like, the only way to do it is to get on there and do it there, which I think needs to happen. And everybody is telling me and emailing me about this piece by Glenn Beck. And as soon as I get off the air here with you guys, I'm going to take a listen. I always hated Mark Levin. I never liked him. I thought he was nasty and mean. Now I look at him and I'm like, geez, thank God for you. Because, you know, while I loved your views on the Constitution, etc., I just didn't like his personality. Listened to him, but didn't like his personality. Now, you know, he's one of the people fighting right alongside of us. Like, at least folks like that can see what's going on and, like, acknowledge the truth. We have an uphill battle, guys, and seriously, the information is where it's starting. When I started to hear all these lies, not just omissions, but flat out lies, it's when I knew that we had a big issue. I'm just going to keep on pointing it out every time I see it on social media, and you guys can share it and retweet it and, you know, whatever. And that's going to be have to be the way we talk about it, because it can't continue this way. Like, I can guarantee you, if there was somebody assigned to just listen to Fox all day and write down every time they told you a lie, you would have hundreds. So, somebody said, to be fair, Levin is rude as hell to his callers. And I say, absolutely. He is. I would never call a show. I'd be afraid. I think he's a nice guy. I've heard from a lot of people that are close to me that he's really amazing. And I'm sure he is in person and stuff. And he does a great show. And his Life, Liberty, and Levin on Sunday night is really, really good. I've seen a bunch of them. They're really, really good. So, anyway, that's that. And somebody said you'd be pissed about how little we're being told. It goes back to 2014. I just want to remind everybody that I've been in this game since 2001. So I am well aware of everything that's been going on for all of those years and beyond. And And I am with you. I totally understand. And now it's just that we have a critical mass of people that are paying attention. So there's that. I really highly doubt that maybe Fox Nation will give me a show where I can debunk the fake news that's gone out for the entire day and tell people what the actual story is. Okay. So that's it for today, for right now, guys. Wednesday, I will be in Miami at the American Priority Conference. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I will be there. And then I will return Tuesday, and then I'm going to Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, and then I'll be back on Saturday. So I have a busy 2 weeks, but I'm going to try and keep streaming for you guys from down there, getting some interviews with some folks on my live stream for you. And if you guys still want to go, you can still get a ticket, I think. It is AmericanPriority.com or AmericanPriority.com, and then you can use code BEANS. Let me just show you this really good video that Something Wicked did that is really awesome. So awesome. Before I go, I'm doing a Spygate panel with Ned Ryan, George Papadopoulos, and Tom Fitton. So if you guys are near the area and want to see that, please take a trip to Miami and watch my Spygate panel with those three fine gentlemen. Very interesting it should be. I'm also their correspondent, so I'll be interviewing all the folks you saw on screen. So I'll bring you interviews from Sarah Sanders, Don Jr., Matt Gaetz, Dinesh D'Souza, Charlie Kirk, Brandon. Oh, goodness, there's so many people there. James O'Keefe, Dana Lash will be there. A whole bunch of people. So you'll see me interviewing all those folks for you guys, and I will bring that to you guys from AMP. It'll be a lot of fun, a lot of work, but a lot of fun. If you guys want to support the work I do, you can find me on Patreon and Subscribestar. It's patreon.com/Tracybeanz with a Z, and Subscribestar the same. I just published an article on Uncover DC from Anna Timmer. I don't know if you guys remember her, but she was the one who confronted Justin Amash in the in that viral video about what he was doing with President Trump. Amazing woman, and she's joined us on Uncover DC, so she put out an article about Jussie Smollett. So, hey, listen, things are happening. We're doing it. It's just frustrating as hell. UncoverDC.com, again, Patreon, and Subscribestar at Tracybeanz, TracyBeanz. Have a great rest of your Saturday, and I will talk to you